I'll take all the credit for funding the project that brought you here, because it feels good to do that. In reality, like every project that gets funded in NSF, it is somebody else's idea, and we bankroll it. So I had nothing to do with generating the idea. I had nothing to do with generating the support within the institution that resulted in your being here and resulted in the institutional support. But I do freely take credit for being supportive of the effort, and I freely take credit for being supportive of any efforts directed towards improving mentoring. I happen to know that there are detractors out there. There are people, your own colleagues, who will tell you, I already know how to mentor. And they'll tell you that you ought to also, that you're wasting your time in efforts like this. And those people are, as you often find in a democracy, wrong. Mentoring is not the same as cloning. Mentoring is not the same as bringing somebody into your lab, turning them loose on a project that you designed, watching them grow to the point where they're now able to have independent thought, so you give them a PhD and send them away and bring in a new cadre of students. That is not mentoring. Mentoring is a lot more powerful experience. It's a lot more of an interactive experience. And it carries a lot of responsibility on both the part of the mentor and the mentee. The reason I think that mentoring training is extremely necessary is because we're looking at a new, diverse group of students coming in. They come in with different attitudes, they come in with different experiences, they come in with different intellectual preparation, different life preparation, and in order to interact effectively with that diverse group, and to help that diverse group to interact better with among themselves, you need to have some preparation for how to gauge what's going on and how to more effectively lead as opposed to just overall boss or manage. And I'm extremely supportive of any kind of mentoring training because it raises mentoring to a status that I think is overdue. Mentoring is just as professionally exhausting, it's just as professionally rewarding as anything else you'll do. Research generates a lot of new knowledge, and there's obviously a lot of energy when you are generating new knowledge. But what you're now doing with mentoring is you're generating or expanding human potential. You are actually taking students who are fairly raw and turning them into leaders in your own fields. You're creating the next level of leadership in the areas that you are now leaders in yourselves. And for me, that's kind of, I get kind of a rush when I think about the possibilities that some of my greatest accomplishments are associated with what my former students are doing, not with what I did. You see, people, you magnify yourself through your students. So I want to encourage you in every aspect of this Mentoring Institute, and I would strongly encourage that you share the information you gain with other faculty members, because it is necessary to change the culture of academia to recognize the value of mentoring. Some of you probably are extraordinarily good mentors right off the block. You may not even learn anything in this particular institute, but it can reinforce what you already know. Others of you may be a little more rough around the edges with respect to how to do certain things and what to do and how to approach, but you have instincts, and your instincts obviously have brought you here today. If you didn't have certain instincts about mentoring, you probably wouldn't have even thought this was worth the effort. So I think you've already jumped over the first hurdle, the recognition that mentoring is something that can be enhanced and it is worthy of your particular efforts. I agree that you should be applauded for taking time out of your very busy schedules. I have vague memories of what it used to be like. Now being a born-again bureaucrat, my time is spent differently, but I don't even remember the last time I looked at the clock to see if I was working an 8-hour day. This is not about that. So I just wanted to say that the foundation as a whole really is supportive of these kinds of efforts. To the extent that more and more we're actually providing funding for even research projects, even full-fledged, legitimate, die-hard research projects from our research directors are now recognizing that maybe there are the components of mentoring, components of integrated research and education involved. And you'll see that rhetoric in a lot of our programs at NSF, and it's not just rhetoric, it actually is something that you'll find throughout. So this, believe it or not, this particular type of exercise that you're going through now can translate into you having much more powerful, much more solid proposals when you apply to the specific research directors within the NSF. Because when we continue to ask for education components, you will probably be better positioned after an institute like this to put those kinds of things into a regular research proposal. So there is some value added at a very personal level.